to learn any language of the world. Just put it in the environment where that language is spoken and boom, language acquired. How can they do that? Generative syntax offers compelling insights into the acquisition paradigm. It proposes that the language ability is partly innate. That is, children are equipped with a tool, namely the language acquisition device, the LAD for short. This acquisition device enables the child to pick up any language they are exposed to at birth. And it is genetically, and it is biologically inherited. That is to say, it is ingrained in our DNA. And it is genetically transmitted. They are transmitted by genes from parents to children. And it is shared by all humans, irrespective to their socio-cultural differences. And this innate constraints is what's termed as the universal grammar, or the UG. Additionally, children have the ability to comprehend and produce an infinite and limitless set of sentences. Surely their brain capacity is limited, so how can they do that again? Syntax again steps in and proposes that children, through the acquisition process, they internalize an informal grammar. This informal grammar includes a limited and finite set of rules. And using this limited set of rules, children get to produce, interpret, generate an infinite set of sentences. So in general, and in a great part, language acquisition, or first language acquisition, remains to be accounted for thanks to syntax.
Thanks to human beings.
Second is the pedagogy and L2 acquisition, and how the syntax actually benefit in this area. In the principles and parameters theory, it is solidly argued that all languages share common principles. That is to say, properties and patterns that all languages manifest. Like, for instance, a subject. All sentences of the world contain a subject, be that overt or covert. And in addition to that, there are parameterized properties. That is to say, patterns and properties which differ across languages. Like, for instance, the word order. In English, the noun actually follows the adjective. And we say the smart guy, the tall girl. But in Arabic, or in Darija, for instance, it's the other way around. The noun precedes the adjective. This formal distinction will help course developers as well as language teachers to assist learners to acquire the second language, let's say, both quickly and efficiently by highlighting the common principles that have been already learned in their L1s, and so they will be learned at once, and by monitoring them carefully to reset the parameters for those properties that have different settings for their L1. Like, for instance, reset the parameter of N, adjective to adjective N. And this actually will prevent the permanent fossilization in adult learner acquisition. And this is, of course, easier said than done. And if I may contradict myself here, at a teaching conference, Chomsky once said that the study of syntax cannot offer anything whatsoever to the teaching of languages. Whether this claim, it's a little bit too hasty to judge whether this claim is valid or not, and we'll leave that for future research to decide about. And the third area is computational linguistics, and we really owe a great deal of that to syntax for the outstanding advancement that we are witnessing nowadays in the area of computers and technology, especially in the field of artificial language processing. Now that a better understanding has been gained about the structure of the language and how it is represented in the mind of the speakers, it has been simulated into computational models. And we managed to execute tasks that would have been otherwise impossible, such as instant translation. And as you know, in order to translate from one language to the next, you have to be acknowledgeable about the grammar of both languages, which necessarily includes the knowledge about syntax and morphology. We have speech and text processing, This is especially important for those with specific language impairment who due to a brain injury cannot produce language. But now speech machinery can be used to get their thoughts spoken. And if you know the case of the world's renowned physicist Stephen Hawking, which is talking through a speech synthesizer, and the whole book has been published thanks to that, which is A Brief History of Time, and people now have gained a really thorough understanding of science thanks to that, or of the outer space. The third benefit, which is human-machine interaction, which mostly made life easier for those for those who are visually impaired. So instead of clicking buttons they can't see, they just talk to the machine or the device and get their commands executed. Thank you very much.